So good to see you. Where should I start? I begin with the conviction that God is love, and that we must start there. God is love, and that God sent Jesus to show us this love, give us this love, teach us how to live in this love, and how to share this love with a world that is lost and desperately needs this love. So I begin in a very simple sort of place. And sometimes the word radical, by the way, shares a root word with the word radish, and rad means like root. So something that is radical actually is simply something that has returned to its proper roots. And the Christian story began with a joyous, euphoric announcement that God is love and God sent Jesus to show the world this love so this world would know this love. And sometimes the most radical thing is unbelievably simple, and it's actually a return to how things started. Are you with me? Now, this love demands freedom. If you have love, you must have freedom. If you cannot choose, and if your will and ability to decide is co-opted or coerced in any way, then it is no longer love, it is something else. And so love, the very nature of love, is it has to be chosen. Love always has freedom. That freedom has consequences. If you resist this love of God, if you reject it, if you turn the other way, there are very serious consequences. So this love demands freedom. This freedom has all sorts of consequences. This love can be rejected. It can be resisted. It can be repulsed. It also creates all sorts of possibilities, which we have all experienced in our journey as followers of Jesus. This love creates all sorts of possibilities. I never thought that was possible. And so, what I have experienced as a pastor and interacting with an extraordinary number of people across the spectrum, I, on a regular basis, by the way, I meet people who are here on a Sunday who will come up afterwards and say, I've grown up in Grand Rapids, this is the first church service I've ever attended. So like the spectrum in Grand Rapids, the spectrum in West Michigan, you have an extraordinary spectrum. But what's often behind people's questions, doubts, longings, troubles, confusion, what I've discovered again and again and again is the real question, the question behind the question behind the question, is generally, what is God really like? And my experience has been, in talking to an extraordinary number of people across a vast spectrum, is that lots of people have very distorted, destructive ideas about what God is like. And if you don't go in there and do some open heart surgery, for a lot of people, God is a slave driver. And it often gets masked in very spiritual terms, like we're working, we're serving, we're doing ministry. But actually, deep down, God is a slave driver. And if I pause just for a moment to rest, boom, I'm going to get it. For others, I don't know how many people I've met who have said, if I were to attend a church service, the roof would cave in or lightning bolts would spontaneously combust me. Well, that's a particular conception of the divine that is fairly toxic and destructive. Would you agree? The mall is still standing, and we've been coming here for a while. And so my experience has been, you have to go, and Jesus, again and again and again and again, he goes back to people's fundamental conceptions of what God is like. He knows how many hairs are on your head. Oh, look at the flowers, look at the birds. He's endlessly going back to, wait. What do you think God is like? Because if you think God is like that or that or that, you're going to end up in all sorts of terrible, lonely, isolated places filled with despair and destruction. And so this book comes for me out of a deep deep-seated desire to reclaim a God who is love and a God who is good. The good news is better than that. In my experience, a lot of people think they're carrying around the good news, and you peel it back just a couple layers and you find out, really, that's what God's like? That's not good news. The good news is better than that, which is actually a chapter in the book. Nice little segue. The good news is better than that. The good news is better than that. So, when you hear the word Christian in our culture, what words come to mind? When you think about larger cultures, specifically those who aren't Christians, who don't want anything to do with Jesus, when you say the word Christian, what are Christians known for? And I'm extremely passionate about God's love. God sent Jesus to give this world this love. And Christians, what if when people said Christians, their first thing was, oh, those are the people who never stop talking about how God loves us and sent Jesus to give us this love? What if when they talked about Christians, Christians really were known for our love? What if all the other issues came second? It was first. Oh, yeah. Those are the people who never stop enjoying and talking about and spreading and celebrating God's love. I believe we have a historic sort of generational moment to recapture the essence and the heartbeat of this life and this thing that we have all experienced so that the world might know this God that Jesus has introduced us to. That's why I have written this book. So I hope that helps.